Political strategist James Carville has a pick for the 2028 Democratic primary, and it's not Kamala Harris.
On a recent episode of the show Arroyo Grande, Carville revealed which Democrat he thinks could potentially be his party's best choice to lead in the 2028 presidential election. Let's listen.
If I had to say one guy, I really don't know him very superficially, but if I were like betting the Kentucky Derby and I saw this 12-1 horse and I said, yeah, I want to get a price, I'd take J.B. Pritzker.
Really? Why?
Well,
not Kamala Harris? She's black.
She has no chance.
Why not?
Because no Democrat wants anything to do with anybody that had anything to do with 2024.
Carville then explained why he thinks J.B. Pritzker is the best guy for the job.
They like him, man.
Why?
He campaigns hard. I bet you there's not a black church in South Carolina that JB's not part of the building fund committee. Okay? I mean, and he's bigger than life. But wait, he won $1.5 million. He's worth $3 billion and won $1.5 million shooting craps and blackjack in Las Vegas. That makes people like him. He was saying, no. That's going to make you popular. The young black, disaffected black males go, this guy went up there and he had all that money, he fired at him. You know, if I had that kind of money, that's exactly what I would do.
He's an entertaining fellow, at least.
Entertaining fellow and an expert on what young black males are interested in, I guess.
Apparently.
Well, okay, the idea here, though, correct me if I'm wrong, is that he was analogizing this to like a sports betting thing where you could stand to make a big profit if someone is being a little bit underrated and you're picking a horse that, not that you actually think is going to win, but they're maybe a little bit more likely than the odds are giving them, so you'd make some money if, like, he's not saying, like, obviously J.B. Pritzker is not the front runner.
Yeah.
I think it's very unlikely that he is the nominee, but maybe it's a little bit more likely than people are giving it credit for.
Yeah, I didn't think it was 100% clear what Carville was saying, because he did make the analogy you're talking about, which is suggesting that Pritzker's chances have been underrated. But he did go on and talk him up significantly. He seems to have great faith in J.B. Pritzker's campaigning abilities, generally speaking. I'm not close enough to Illinois politics to know really whether that is true or not. I find it a little challenging to imagine a billionaire winning the Democratic nomination in the current environment. I mean, unless they had absolutely preternatural political talents. I think Pritzker's fine. I mean, I think he's, an assertive, forceful advocate for what he believes. But I was surprised whenever this topic came up and we were guessing who Carville would go for, and I was surprised he went for Pritzker.
Yeah, I agree with Carville that anyone who still has the stench of 2024 on them, the Biden association, is going to suffer massively. That's true of Kamala Harris. That's probably true of Pete Buttigieg. I wouldn't totally rule them out on that basis, but things are not going to get better for them. And, maybe they'll get better for Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro, AOC.
Yeah.
We're all circling the same names. Is J.B. Pritzker in there? Sure. Is a handful of other somewhat successful governors? Yes. But, there's still going to be massive advantages of the front runner of the Gavin Newsom.
I think it's it's Newsom and AOC. I would argue the two frontrunners, partly because AOC has no real competition in that left lane, whereas Newsom and Pritzker and various others do. So now, Newsom has his own problems or vulnerabilities. There was that Vogue interview, I don't know if you saw it during the week, which began talking about how devastatingly handsome he was.
Oh, about his sex appeal.
His sex appeal.
Written by a very, very thirsty, middle-aged white
I don't
woman.
know who wrote it.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Well, who knows? But, the sense that Newsom is in some way too sort of elitist seemed to be something that he is trying to get past. He has I think it's a book coming out where he talks about his difficulties growing up. Well, because his parents separated.
Did he have humble roots? I don't know.
Well, they seemed kind of mixed. The father was like a power broker, but then after the parents either separated or divorced, Newsom spent most of his time with his mother, who was in much less financially prosperous circumstances and so on. So it's an interesting story.
I don't know anything about his life really prior to his marriage to Kimberly Guilfoyle.
You can pick up his book and find out more about the biography of Gavin Newsom. You can
Can't wait to do that.
Delve into that. I'm sure you'll be delighted.
I'm sure I will. Nothing is more honest and true and real and gripping and exciting as politicians' autobiographies.
Well, I can't let a 2028 conversation go by without needling you about Gretchen Whitmer as a possible Democratic nominee.
I hope that conversation is ending.
Once your native Michigander goes for it, you can buy her book as well.
Her VP dreams are always alive, though, I think.
Possibly. On a more serious note, we will, well, not that 2028 isn't serious, but on a graver note, we'll continue to look at the reactions to the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Pretty, as well as other incidents involving law enforcement. I'll have more of that in my notes coming up next.